All right, today is the second day of Nisan. The second day of Nisan is the day that the Rebbe Resha'b, the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, the father of the previous Rebbe, passed away, 1920. The Rebbe Resha'b was the one who established the yeshivas of Chabad, and also his Chassidic teachings that he had were very long and very, very detailed, very detailed. And he explained ideas in Chassidut which are not explained anywhere else to make it practical. And all of this was a preparation to bring Moshiach. So every year this is revealed. Since 1920, this date of Beit Nisan reveals the sum total of his life. And of course, his whole life was just the desire to give this to the Jewish people, all of the good things that he did to inspire the Jewish people psychologically, but also spiritually, soul-wise, like Abraham inspired all the Jewish people. He put it into our souls. He opened another door in our souls. That's what the Rebbe Resha'b did. Every Rebbe of Chabad, but the Rebbe of Resha'b, this is the day that he passed away, so we're talking about him. Here we go. Alpi Lanal, according to what we just finished saying. Okay, so what did we say before? We said that according to the Zohar, it says that in like 1600, 1700, that were opened up the gates of secular and of Jewish knowledge, more knowledge about the world and more knowledge about God. That was around the time when there was the Arizal. The Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, and he opened up new and explained ideas in Kabbalah in a way that could be, you say, approached by the normal, every Jew. But it was still very, very high. It was revealed. And then came the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov came also around this time. The Baal Shem Tov came, 300 years ago, 350 years ago. Baal Shem Tov came. And the Baal Shem Tov took the ideas of the Arizal, again, along with other ideas, but he made them really practical so that every Jew can come to love God and love life and love the Torah and love every human being. Practical. So the Rebbe said, why did it take so long? So the Rebbe said, because the whole idea was to bring Moshiach. And in bringing Moshiach, there's different stages. And as soon as the stage, the world is ready for it, the next stage occurs. So it's true that all awareness in the time of Moshiach, everyone will be aware of God. The whole world will be filled with the awareness of God like water fills the ocean, it says. So if it's everywhere already, so, what it has to be revealed little by little, little by little. And as the generations get lower and lower, right, further away from the giving of the Torah, they get darker and darker. As it gets closer to Mashiach, like right before the dawn is the darkest. So as the generations get lower, it says our generation is called the heels of the Mashiach. As it gets lower, higher and higher revelations, ideas, explanations of God are given. Higher and higher. And so that's the whole idea of, because God wants there to be a dwelling place in this low world. So the closer we get, the lower that we get, the higher are the ideas that have to be explained. Okay. So according to what we said before, Yesh Lomar, we can add, let me get this bigger over here. According to what we say, just like it is in general, the difference between the latter generations where the darkness is thicker and the earlier generations, now the darkness is thicker. So we need deeper type of light. Kenu also it is in the last generations themselves. In every generation that comes closer to the Moshiach, just like our responsibility gets greater and increasing, also is the revelation of the highest things of the Torah. Legabi Adorot, regarding the generations from before. Because the coming Mashiach depends on all of us working. So it means that every single Jew has to somehow or other be, how do you say, ignited, woken up. And only the highest ideas from the depths of our soul will do this. And just like, Sha'anu Roim, we can see we can see Shekenu Adover, so it is, in Gilui Penimis Torah, in the revelation of the secrets of the Torah. Midor to door, from generation to generation, it reveals more and more, and it's enclosed more in understanding and grasping ideas, the oneness of God. We just finished learning that God reacts to what we do, and there's different ways. It becomes more and more a topic that's at least understandable, at least you can talk about. Gili B'Tosefes Rabbah, this especially was in the writings of the Rebbe Resha'b, whose day of passing away is now. Asher Ba'im Boim, that the ideas of Chassidut come in a wider way and in a more understandable way than ever before. Mikamo Shehem, than they were in the words, in the Maimorim, in the discourses, the Chassidic discourses of all of the Rebbes that preceded him. Alright, so it's Yadu, it's known, the saying of the Chassidim, the first Chassidim of the Rebbe Resha'b, that they said that the Rebbe Resha'b, this Rebbe Shalom Dovber, that he is the Rambam of Chassidut. Just give me one moment, please. 1 moment. Okay, the Rebbe Resha'b was called the Rambam of Chassidut. Maybe I'll bring up another picture of it. Last time I tried to do this, it was a tragedy. What's happening? Here, where are we? Here we have this picture. Terrible picture, but here's a better picture. Huh? Anyway, here's a picture of the Rebbe. Here he is. Right? Here's a picture of Rebbe Shalom Dovber of Chabad. This picture was probably taken, I don't know, about 1900, something like that. Passed away in 1920. Okay. So it says, the Hasidim used to say that the Rebbe Resha'b was called the Maimonides of Hasidut. The name Maimonides is a little bit sort of misleading. It seems to imply that he's some sort of a Greek philosopher, as a Maimonides. Rabbi Moses ben Maimon, that was his name. The Rambam. So what did the Rambam do? The Rambam, he took all of the Torah, all of the Talmud, all the ideas of Judaism, including Kabbalistic ideas. And I said, even though he doesn't deal with that much, but anything that's relevant to action, to deed, to the commandments of the Torah, and including laws that are the Holy Temple and laws of purity and laws that they're not relevant right now. Only in the days of the Moshiach will be relevant. All of the laws of the Torah, and he put them in an orderly fashion, and to a certain degree explained all of them. But everything, he encompassed everything, Maimonides. Nobody like him. They say the same thing is also with the Rebbe Resha'b, that he encompassed all of the ideas of Chassidut, all the ideas. That in them come the ideas that things are more explained than all of the Rebbes from before him. So it's known that the Chassidim say that he's called the Rambam of Chassidus. Why? Because the whole idea of the teachings of Chabad come in his Maimorim in an orderly way, in a way which is, how do you say, which is organized, b'mashalim u'mavorim, in all sorts of examples and explanations of all these ideas about Ein Sof and the Tzimtzum and the Kav, in ways that can be relevant to us, or moving like it's understood. That, like the Rambam, like Maimonides himself writes, that his book, he says, Re'iti, I saw, Maimonides says, I wanted to write a book and explain in it in a clear language, in a short language, terse language, so that the whole entire oral Torah should be organized according to everyone. Things which are clear and close and proper. So we can understand, so you don't have to look through the whole Talmud and sift through all these different opinions. Maimonides says, I'm going to write a book that's going to be the conclusion of all the opinions. This is the same thing regarding the fifth Rebbe of Chabad, the Rebbe Resha'b, Rebbe Shalom Dodber, that in his writings and his teachings, he taught things very clearly in a very, very succinct language that was near to everyone. It could be understood and proper. Among the Maimorim that he said was in the year Taf Reish Samech Vav, which Taf Reish Samech Vav must be 1906. Huh? 1906, yeah. Ki Kol Malos Anal, all the things that we said before, that the Rebbe, fifth Rebbe, encompasses all of these ideas of all the upper worlds and all the ideas, and he explained them clearly and I say clearly and succinctly. What's this word? Nishtabchu Mamorov, all the things Yeshnu B'mida Meruba B'Yuda Hemshech. In this continuation, I used to have one on my table. Where is it? It's a fairly thick book, and he explains everything very clearly over there. Lo rak b'hemshech zeh bo Torah Chassidic liyadei hitkalot yoter u'b'hasaga u'mat. Not only in this, all these Maimorim, it's like, I don't know, 1,000 pages, something like that. It's 500 pages of explanations of ideas of Chassidut. So not only are things explained well, el shikam shaychus el chachma zu be'geula tida. Also, it's very connected to the future redemption. The redemption, bringing Moshiach. Like we said, that's the whole reason that Chassidut was revealed in this generation. Midgalit yoter midor dor. That's revealed more and more. Is only to bring Moshiach. That's the whole purpose of it. Near it yoter, you can see even more in this hemshech in Samach Vav. Like it's known. The Maimorim that he said in Samach Vav, it's known that the Rebbe Resha'b, he connected his sayings in this Maimer Zu with the Kates Hanimshach Bakamas Forim Achanahu. He attributed the reason why the Chassidic discourses that he gave in this year of 1906 Taf Reish Samach Vav, said because there were a lot of people that projected that in that year Mashiach was supposed to come. Almost every great Torah scholar in Judaism had some sort of a projected date when Mashiach was supposed to come. Almost all of them. Even Maimonides that said you shouldn't do it, he did himself at a projected date, right? And they said the reason is that everybody should know that Mashiach is an actual thing. It's an actual event that's actually going to occur, right? Maybe it didn't occur when they said exactly. Maybe something else happened, whatever it was that was revealed, or another step or whatever. But we have to know that it's for certainly going to come. There's no doubt about it. So one of the projected times Mashiach was supposed to come was in this year 1906, right? And therefore he wrote the Maimorim then. There were in those days pogroms in Russia. This was after the Shabbos of a pregnant year. In Russia, there was the Russian Revolution, right, which that ended something like 1917 or 1919. It was a long, drawn-out thing. Like millions of people got killed. But before that, the Tsar, in order to quiet the people down, so he blamed the Jews. And he figured they would have a common enemy, would be the Jews. And the people didn't have what to eat, and they didn't have any work, and they were losing the war. I guess there was a World War II, or there was World War One. I'm sorry. It was beginning. It was about to begin before the war. Whatever the case was, is the people were the Russians were very dissatisfied, and they were very poor, and so what did the Tsar do? Simple answer. He, instead of admitting his own faults and his own crookedness and his own, how do you say, cruelty to people who didn't care whatsoever, so he blamed the Jews. And there were terrible pogroms. That's when, like, around the time when my grandparents, they came to America. A lot of Jews came to America in that time from Russia. There wasn't any Iron Curtain. You could get out. And they wanted the Jews to leave. They wanted to get Jews there. So he said, in no, he said there were terrible things that did happen. And that time there were these pogroms in Russia. And that this was, it says, after Shabbat. So there were terrible occurrences that did happen, unusual occurrences that happened, etc. in those days. But nevertheless, he attributed this, is making Paul. And as far as, so in other words, the point of the Rebbe Resha'b was to bring Moshiach. And the Rebbe doesn't bring it over here, but he set up all the yeshivas of Chabad, Tamchei Tamim, was only to bring Moshiach. That was his whole goal. So according to what we said before, that Shenitnu v'nim shechu hagiluyim, that were given and draw down all these blessings and all these powers from above to transform the darkness, which is doubled and redoubled, like it says, Galo la'adam shechino yimayim. Like it says that God's presence was exiled to Edom together with the Jewish people. These 2,000 years of exile that we're in is called the exile of Edom. Edom is Rome, basically. Shenikra b'shem shechina, because it dwells in this physical world. Namely, shegam kasher, even when the Jewish people are in the lowest of lows. Nevertheless, God dwells with us like a shachanti betochem, within each and every Jew. Betoch kol echad ve'echad. Give me 1 second here, 1 moment. 1 moment. 2 people on the waiting room. Whoa, 1 second. Here we go. Good. Okay. Yeah, okay. So regarding to, here we go. Okay, regarding to what we're supposed to do. Today is the day of the passing away of the 5th Rebbe of Chabad. All of his life's work is rolled up and given to us as inspiration on this day. So how are we supposed to use this? What are we supposed to do? The Rebbe, 5th Rebbe of Chabad, he revealed the teachings of Chassidut in a clear and in an all-encompassing way that were not done by any other Rebbes before him. And the whole purpose was to bring Moshiach, which is commensurate with the idea that we said in the beginning, that as we get closer to Moshiach, the darkness becomes greater and greater. We have to refine the last remaining, whatever is swamp creatures, whatever, that are in this terrible exile that we're in. And therefore, and they're fighting back. So we have Chassidut in order to deal with this. And the Rebbe Resha'b, he was the one that really revealed this. He began to reveal the teachings of Chassidut in a really big outer way. He was the one that also founded the yeshivas of Chabad, that everyone should learn Chassidut. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this Chassidut thing, first of all, there's a lot of classes on Chabad Chassidut on the internet. And also there's a Chabad house nearby you. You can go and ask him what's going on, what's happening. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to talk to. I'm not more than happy. I don't know what it means, more than happy. They'll be very happy to talk to you. Okay. In regard to what are we supposed to do? According to this, we said that all these revelations were being given, especially through the Rebbe Resha'b, to transform the darkness, which is doubled and redoubled, like it says that even God's presence is in exile with all the Jewish people. But it nevertheless is called the Shekhinah, God's presence, the Shekhinah. It's called Shekhinah. Why? God's presence, because it's God's presence. He wants to be revealed. It dwells and it is present in all of the worlds, the revelation of the Creator in His creation. Hainu, like when a person is sick, so his soul is not revealed in his body. He can't move, he can't talk. When a person's soul is revealed, that means he's alive, he's healthy. The same thing, the soul of the world is godliness. That's called the Shekhinah. And when it's revealed, then the world is healthy. But even when we are on a b'shafel matzab, even when we're the lowest of situations, God, He dwells with us until it says shachanti b'tochem b'toch kol echad v'echad. That God's presence directly, personally, individually, is with each and every one of us. Revelation. So therefore, God is the one that gives us power to end the exile. We just have to plug in a little bit, ignore all the negative things, and plug into what's there. Godliness. That's what the Rebbe Resha'b wanted through Chassidut, to think more and more about God. And with this, we can refine, we can purify even what's called the pachim katanim, the small vessels. It says that Jacob, when he went over the river, he went back to get these little pachim katanim. That's when he fought with the angel. It says that's what we're doing now. We're going to just fix up the last little sparks, the Jews that are deep down into exile. They don't even know that they're Jews. I mean, listen, an amazing thing happened just in a short way. We can say, right, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he stood against the whole communist regime. And they wanted to kill him, which was no big deal for them. They killed tens of millions of people, right? And for some reason, they took him into prison, and they could have killed him anytime they wanted to. And for some reason, not only did they not kill him, but they didn't have any effect on him whatsoever. They did not have any effect. They didn't scare him whatsoever. The Rebbe said, our Rebbe said about this, that's what put the first crack in the Iron Curtain. That's what put the first crack. Then the Rebbe himself, at a speech that he gave, at a Farbringen that he gave in 1953, he said that he talked all of a sudden, and he said, saying, hoorah, he is bad, he is bad, he is bad. And the people didn't know what he was talking about. And it ended up that those words that the Rebbe said had a direct effect, or they were the only effect, and Stalin died. And little by little, it worked out, and in Russia, suddenly the gates opened up. And when the gates opened up, suddenly there were Jews that they had no idea that they were Jewish. Jews that their mother didn't know that she was Jewish. And just that the person found out that his mother's mother was Jewish. Or he found a letter that was written from his mother's mother, that she was Jewish, and she wanted to hide it from her daughter's grandmother. Suddenly they just come out, they just woke up, Jews that they were hidden under layers, generations of ignorance, of clouds, that they didn't know they were Jewish. And as soon as it was revealed, it just changed their whole life around. Now go and tell a person, you know that 4 generations, your mother was Irish. Your mother was Japanese. Well, who cares? Well, so what? You know, your mother was Russian. What difference does it make? You reveal to a person that he has absolutely no connection with Judaism, doesn't even know he's Jewish. His mother didn't know. You're a Jew. So I'm a Jew. He didn't. And that's what it means that things are being woken up. It was from the power of Chassidut that the previous Rebbe was able to withstand the threats and the darkness of communism. It's just an example. And the Rebbe says that's happening now in the world also. Now we're there to take out the last little sparks, and then we will merit the Kate Samta Choshek. There won't be any more darkness anymore. There won't be any more depression and aggression and sickness and famine and hatred and wars. There won't be. The world can get along really well without those things. Kates Agalus, there'll be the end of all exile, the end of all ignorance. And afterwards, Nischalta de Gula, there will be the beginning of the redemption. And afterwards, the completion of the redemption by means of Mashiach Tzidkenu. The Rebbe once said that one of the signs of the beginning of the redemption was that Jews from France are coming back to Judaism. Thousands of them. France was like the bastion of intermarriage and assimilation. So suddenly Jews are waking up in France. So that was the beginning of the redemption. By means of the Mashiach, b'meira meinu, it should happen immediately now.
Amen.
Okay, let's see, where are we now? Okay, good. Now